Gloria Strode. Welcome to the Public Agenda. Sitting in for State Senator Ed Harbison. We'll be right back after a word from some of our sponsors.
Hi, I'm Emmanuel Jones.
I'm Alexis.
And we'd like to invite you to the all-new Legacy Chevrolet Cadillac Cyber Columbus.
This is coming on TV.
Yes, we're on TV. Wave to your mom.
New Chevy Impalas from just $16,988. And new Chevy Cobalts from just $10,975.
Come back. Back to your legacy.
Go Legacy!
Legacy, my legacy.
As parents, we do whatever is necessary to ensure the health of our children. Sadly, most parents don't realize that their child's first eye exam with an eye doctor should be between the age of 6 and 12 months. I urge you to take your baby to an optometrist for a comprehensive eye assessment. It can literally change your child's vision of the future.
Infancy optometrists offer a no-charge eye assessment for infants 12 months old or younger. Call today to find an optometrist near you.
Welcome back to the Public Agenda. I'm Gloria Strode, sitting in for State Senator Ed Harbison, and I am so excited. We have Dr. Richard Allen, whose mother is one of my longtime friends, and you didn't know that.
I didn't know that until now.
Until now, so you never know who knows you, especially when they know your mother.
That's correct.
Absolutely. You're here today to talk about the Veteran Stand Down.
Yes.
And what you all have planned this year for the homeless veterans, and of course the public is invited to attend. So just share with our audience what it is and what's the mission for this year.
Okay. Well, the stand down is basically a term that originated during the Vietnam conflict, where the commanders would let some of the men who had been on the front line go back to the rear echelons to get a little R&R and take care of themselves as far as getting showers and clothes of that nature, and just rejuvenate themselves to get back on the battlefield and have increased morale. So it started from that concept, and a group of guys out in San Diego started this concept of stand down for people who were not in wartime, but for veterans who had pretty much lost their way, were homeless, and just needed someone to show them love. And so they would just take a day out of the year to bring veterans in and give them meals, give them clothes, haircuts, things of that nature, to let people know that they were still loved and cared for, and that just boosted their morale, and we're trying to do that here in Columbus.
Okay, so this is just outreach and support services
Yes.
for the veterans.
Yes.
And of course, Senator Harbison is a veteran, went to Vietnam 5 times, and I'm sure he'll be very sad he wasn't here, but he's away taking care of other business.
We understand.
But a lot of the homeless men that we see on the street are actually veterans.
Yes.
And so are you all trying to bring those individuals in and provide them with some services for that day?
Yes. We're trying to bring the veterans in that are homeless, and they're not all men. A good proportion of them are women now, that we're bringing in to tell them about things that are available in the community, support systems, and do health screening, give them information about where they can go learn about their benefits that they are entitled to. Also, we're going to do clothing giveaway, haircuts, also give them information about job skills, and workshop on interviewing and writing resumes of that, things of that nature.
Okay, so you have someone that's going to be there to help them figure out how to get their benefits.
Yes.
Because a lot of folks, they don't understand the process.
Exactly.
So you're going to have someone on site.
Exactly.
That's going to help them with walking through getting
That's
those benefits,
exactly right.
and you got to be walked through.
Yes.
Then you're going to have someone that's going to help them with job seeking and keeping skills, preparation of resumes, and how to look for a job. Because a lot of the veterans, you know, from that era, especially Vietnam, not the new Iraq veterans, are really not technology savvy. So if you go down to the unemployment office now, you have to be able to use the computer.
You're lost.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So you're going to have someone on site for that.
Yes.
Then you're going to work on the self-esteem. You got somebody that's going to provide clothes or give them a haircut, And then you are a medical expert, so you're going to be on site to do some medical screenings.
Yes.
And all of this is free.
All of this is free for the veteran. You're entitled to it. This is something that's an outreach to help the veterans know that they're loved and cared for. So it's free to all veterans, and you don't have to be homeless to come. It's primarily designed for the homeless veteran, but any veteran can come.
Okay.
Any veteran
and
can
so
come.
you are a veteran.
I'm a veteran. I spent 20 years in the military, and I'm back in Columbus, back at home. I've been here about 19 years, so I'm a veteran. Columbus is a good place for veterans. No better place than Columbus for veterans.
And so what is are you family practice? Or?
No, I'm an obstetrician gynecologist by training.
Okay. All right. So you're the baby doctor,
I'm the
as
baby
old
doctor.
people say.
I'm a baby doctor.
The baby doctor.
Yes.
Okay, so you're going to have other physicians on site.
Well, we have other physicians, but mostly it'll be other healthcare providers.
Okay.
It'll be ancillary personnel. It'll be some physicians, but primarily it'll be other people that will be doing screening, like eye screening, dental screenings, hearing screens of that nature, things of that nature.
So they can get the blood pressure checked, the sugar checked, as
Yes,
we say the
yeah,
sugar instead of the diabetes.
Right.
And you're going to we'll have someone to help screen for the prostate cancer and those types of checks. Will that be available?
Not sure about the prostate check at this time, but the other ones will be there. The blood pressure, the glucose, blood sugar screening will be there. Also, we have some information concerning diet and exercise. You know, obesity is one of our primary problems because a lot of the problems that we get, such as high blood pressure, stroke, and diabetes, stem from obesity and diet. And so we'll be primarily focusing on things of prevention-wise.
Okay, prevention, and that is so important.
Yes.
You know, we live in a Bible Belt, so we like everything fried and greasy.
You know, I like that too.
Me too,
Yeah.
but you're physically fit. Okay, tell us where it is, the date, and what's the time.
Okay, the date will be April 30th at the Convention Center, Columbus Trade and Convention Center. The time will be 7 o'clock in the morning until 4 o'clock that afternoon. So it's an all-day affair. We'll have 2 meals. Breakfast will be served and lunch.
Oh, okay.
And it's free for all veterans. So and veteran include anybody from 6 months service to 35-year service. So if you had honorable discharge, you're entitled to come. Please come.
Okay. So that's April the 30th at the Columbus Convention and Trade Center.
Yes, ma'am. From
7 a.m. to 4 p.m. You're serving 2 free meals.
Yes.
And it's free services all day long to any veteran.
Any veteran.
All right.
Yes.
Well, I really applaud you all for doing that, and we need more of that. So we look forward to supporting you on that. We really do.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
We'll be right back after a word from some of our sponsors. Welcome back to the Public Agenda. I'm Gloria Strode, sitting in for State Senator Ed Harbison, who is away taking care of our community's business. My good friend, Command Sergeant Major Eddie Roberts, president of the Controller Civic and Social Club, Omega Psi Phi, military banking. I tell you, if I could have your hand, I'd turn mine in. What's going on?
Hi, Gloria. Thank you very much for having me on your show today.
Well, you're doing so much in the community, and I know the senator is sorry that he wasn't able to be here with you, but you know he has to do what he has to do.
He just didn't want me. He didn't want me to coin. He
didn't want that coin. Each year, the controllers, well, you do so much year-round, but each year you do something that touches my heart as well as others, and that's the shoe giveaway for the economically and socially disadvantaged children.
Yes, Gloria, this is our 31st year of doing this.
31 years.
To date, we're well over 20,000 plus pairs of shoes that we're giving within the Tri-City community, and we've grown. In 1980, when we come up with something to do in the community, we started with an Easter egg hunt, and we found that a lot of people were doing that, so we kind of drifted to a pair of shoes. So our first shoe giveaway was 35 pairs of shoes, and we didn't kind of get that right because everybody that got those 35 pairs really didn't need the shoes.
Shoes. Okay, so that was 31 years ago. You gave
Right.
35 pairs.
35 pairs.
Okay.
So we finally come up with the idea, says, let's look for an area to where we can start at the beginning and we get somebody to help and identify. So we started with the Head Start program. We only started with about 2 Head Start schools or arenas, and now we're up to almost 15. Plus, we started in Columbus. Now we're in Phoenix City, Russell County, Stewart County, Harris County. I mean,
Talbot County.
Talbot County. We're going so far south that I guess
might end up at the Florida line.
and the same thing, we're going north outside of Stewart and Harris County. But we picked up on all the enrichment Head Start programs. We found there that the babies there are precious. All babies are precious.
Oh, they are.
We found an arena that we can help. And what the good thing about it is that these programs, the enrichment service, like Bellwood, Rosemount, Baker Village, Tarbert, the ones in Alabama Council Relation, and Marion Wright Education Center in Russell County, Alabama, they know these kids. They actually get to see the children that really are less fortunate that come to the little Head Start with shoes and the little socks on that just not be fitted. You know, in a day and time as today, you would think that a pair of Easter shoes would be so normal for someone to obtain, but it's not.
Oh, yes.
We picked Easter because all of your other programs, you know, Christmas and Thanksgiving, you had organizations doing that. So we picked the Easter shoe program. The significant thing about this is that once we identify the children, we come up with 850 pairs that we're going to donate this year as well. And we've added to this the Easter Seals of Columbus, and this year we're going to add another arena to it, the homeless veterans under the bridge.
Right.
We're going to identify 50 people under the bridge, starting with our veterans. And once we get all the veterans, whatever was left over from the veterans, we're going to come up to a total of 50 pairs. This is something new for us, but we figure like we wanted to try something different.
Right.
This year, this is a different arena. I'm going to get with the mayor and the city council, the city manager, to try to see how can we get the transportation from under the bridge to get to Payless Shoe Store.
Right.
Because that's where we give the shoes out, at the Payless Shoe Store at Peachtree Mall. We do that because it's indoors, regardless of the weather.
Exactly.
If it's hot, the children in a nice, cool environment. If it's cold, in a warm environment. And they normally bring them at the times that we indicate that they can come. They feed them there, they bus them there, and they get them back. And if you haven't seen anything that's fantastic, come out on the day that we're going to give out our Easter shoes, which is on the 20th of April at the Payless Shoe Store.
The 20th of April is my birthday.
Well, come on out and help us celebrate your birthday.
Exactly. That is a wonderful way to celebrate my birthday, to just observe what you all do with the children and the shoes. And you're absolutely right. A lot of the children that are socially and economically disadvantaged, if you go into some of the schools, you'll see who they are, even in terms of elementary school. And so that's a big deal.
Yes, it is.
That they can get a new pair of shoes and they walk out. They have a different kind of strut when they leave.
And when you give them that bag, oh no, you're not getting that back. If you want to see something that's just phenomenal, come out. You can help us put the shoes on. You can work for 30 minutes, an hour. And the thing I like about the donations that we ask, Payless is based on $10 per pair of shoes. Or in today's time, it's kind of hard to get a pair of shoes for $10. But because we've been there for so long and we kind of kept our donations at a minimum to just say, Mr. and Mrs. John Q. Citizen, if you would help us buy one shoe, which is $5, we like 2 shoes, which is $10. And if you can't give us that, give us a prayer.
Amen.
We'll take that.
Exactly.
Because what we're looking for is to put shoes. We have not to this day, thank God, turned back any children that we've identified to give these Easter shoes to. So if you want to help us, we have a dance on the 16th at the DAV, 215th Avenue Drive. On the 16th, and that's from 9 until, or you can mail us a donation. The address is 215 8th Street, and that's Columbus, Georgia, 31902, and make it attention to Eddie Roberts. Any amount that you donate to us is a blessing, because if you give us $1, we'll raise 9 more. We're going to work this out, because no children are going to be left behind, and you're more than welcome to come out and join us. And the most significant thing is that when you see the faces of these children with a new pair of shoes,
it's pure joy.
You physically have to see it to really believe. So I tell the donors that support us, this is one of these donations to where you physically get to see where your donation goes.
Exactly.
You can come out.
See it in action.
You can see it in action because if you haven't seen 850 children in the same place at the same time going through for shoes, and the most significant thing about a child, our biggest problem to date is the bathroom.
Oh, okay.
Because when one goes,
everybody wants to go.
Needs to
That's
go.
what happens with the little kids. Well,
Yes, it is.
we thank you so much, Eddie Roberts. You do so much for this community, and certainly I know that, and we don't take that for granted. So
Thank you very much.
You will be having this on April 20th at Payless Shoes.
Right, from 9 a.m. until we finish with all 850 pairs of shoes.
All right. Well, I'm going to try and be there if the federal government will allow me, if they don't have me on the road. That's my birthday.
Thank you very much, and happy birthday to you. We won't forget you on that
All
day.
right. I'm Gloria Strode. We'll be right back after word from some of our sponsors. Hi, I'm Gloria Strode, and welcome to Voice of the Village. Today, I have two wonderful ladies from New Horizons, the Compass program. Welcome, Deanna and Laquita, one of those exotic names. You all do so much with the women that you work with at New Horizons. I just want you to share with our audience this project you have coming up and how the audience can participate.
Okay, our project coming up is called the Sister Stroll for HIV awareness. It's a walk to promote HIV awareness in the community. It's going to be held April the 9th, 2011 from 9 to 1 at Shirley B. Winston Park. That's off Steamill Road. And we're just going to come out and fellowship with the community and let everyone know how important it is to be aware of their HIV status.
Okay, so will you be doing on-site testing?
We will be doing on-site testing, free OraSure, which is the oral mouth swab test, no blood involved. We'll be doing that throughout the event, as well as giving out prevention, education, material. There'll be other vendors there giving out pertinent information for the community, as well as we'll have raffles, different prizes. Everybody will have an equal chance to win the raffle prizes. The more they participate in, the more tickets they would get in the raffle to possibly get a prize.
Okay.
Yes.
And AIDS is very serious in the African American community. When AIDS first came about, people thought it was the gay disease. And we know that's no longer, what it is, and we should be better informed. In terms of statistics and African American women, where are we in terms of how many of us are being affected?
Well, African American women are disproportionately affected by HIV and AIDS. We have the highest rates of new infections and deaths among African Americans compared to other races.
Okay. And what's the age group that's most at risk?
Well, with African American women, more African American women between the ages of 25 and 34 are dying of AIDS, which means they're contracting it at an early age, but they don't know it because they haven't got tested. So once they finally get tested, their diagnosis has progressed to AIDS quickly because they didn't have the proper treatment and medication early on when they may have contracted the
So
disease.
between the ages of 25 and 35, and possibly many of them are getting it as teenagers.
Yes.
Okay, I have my own story, and I always try to support the A Better Way Foundation, which is one of your board and one of your community partners. My friend was Miss Albany State University, and she actually got it from her husband, and she was 30-something when she passed away. And this is a very well-educated woman, and contrary to what sometimes the media portrays, it wasn't someone that was out in the clubs and being very, living a very loose lifestyle. So it's a myth that it can't happen to women like me or you.
Anyone that's sexually active, that is unprotectedly sexually active, can be at risk for getting HIV.
Okay.
So we try not to label anybody. We focus on behaviors. We don't say if you're promiscuous or this type of thing. We say if you're having unprotected sex, you're putting yourself at risk for HIV and AIDS. And then we try to meet the ladies where they are in their lifestyle, whatever it may be, to show them the best way to protect themselves.
Okay. And so again, give us the date and how you can be reached. And we're going to do this in two parts. We're going to talk about the Sister Stroll, which is April the 9th, and then we're going to do a part 2, and we're just going to try to educate the community on what we should be looking for and what we should do to protect ourselves. So when is this event, and how can they contact you?
All right, the event, the Sister Stroll for HIV Awareness, is April 9, 2011, from 9 to 1 at Shirley B. Winston Park off of Steam Mill Road. We can be reached at our office, which is 706-571-8936, and all the information, how to register, if you want to be a vendor, all that is on our website, which is www.columbussister.com.
columbussister.com. Yes. I like that. Thank you so much. I'm Gloria Strode. This has been Voice of the Village. Until next time, be blessed. Voice of the Village on the Public Agenda is brought to you by Deborah Daniels, MD, Progressive Funeral Home, J.D. Kinder's Furniture, and the Furniture Outlet.
Progressive Funeral Home has stood as a beacon light for many families in Columbus, Phoenix City, and surrounding facilities since 1952 during the painful decision that must be made during the death of a loved one. For over 55 years now, you've come to rely on us, the staff of Progressive Funeral Home, for advice you and your families can trust, along with fair pricing and service you can depend on. Progressive, a funeral home designed to comfort the living, a special place to honor a loved one. So when you need a rise, you can call us at area code 706-685-8023 day or night.
Welcome back to the final segment of the Public Agenda. I have Miss Vanita Buchanan from Apple Tax Services.
Well, hello, Ms.
Well,
Strode.
welcome. You probably are the lady I should be sitting with right now for those of us that owe. That's why I wanted you to come today and give us some tips. The people that do the short forms, you know, they just whiz right through and get a refund. But there are some things that we can get deductions for that a lot of us don't know, and depending on who is preparing your taxes, they won't always tell you. So if you could just enlighten us today on what we should be doing to make sure we don't owe so much back.
Well, you're exactly right about that, Ms. Strode. There are different groups of filers, and the simpler returns have already gone out. Thus far now, the clientele seems to be filers, taxpayers who have a tendency to owe, or those who have a lot more itemizations, your small business owners, contractors, that sort of individual, maybe filers who make in excess of $100,000 or so a year. Those returns require a little bit more time and patience because you have to itemize. And itemizations for those taxpayers who are in that kind of tax brackets can come in different various places. On your itemization schedules, you want to make sure that you make claims to all your mortgage interest. You want to also claim your property taxes. You also want to, if you are a payer of mortgage insurance premiums, those are also tax deductible.
Didn't know that.
Yes, ma'am. Mortgage insurance premiums have been tax deductible for a few years back now. You want to also claim your ad valorem or any property taxes that you might have. And then as you move down on a Schedule A, which is the form that your itemizations go on to, there's a section for unreimbursed business expenses. A lot of people are under the misconception that you can only claim business expenses if you are a business owner. But there is a place on your tax return on that Schedule A where you can claim itemizations, which are expenses that are unreimbursed to you by your W-2 employer. The two different kind of incomes that we tend to deal with would be 1099 and W-2. And W-2 filers are not necessarily aware that they can claim expenses on their jobs. Your employer might require certain things on your job, just say for instance, if you had to buy special insurance policies, even your professional clothing cost on your W-2 income might be an itemization for you, because of course you can't wear jeans and tennis shoes if you're in a professional type environment.
So if you need suits and you can use that.
Yes, ma'am, because those are requirements to do everyday performances of your job. Then as you move on down that particular schedule, you also do not want to forget your unreimbursed medical expenses, because a lot of times our insurance policies don't cover everything. Then as you move farther and farther on down that form, you want to include your dental. Don't forget your eyeglasses. Don't forget charitable donations. Keep up with your tithes and your offerings. Also keep up with any other charitable miles you might drive when you're making contributions to different charities and organizations. Your time is just as important as the monetary donations that you make to these organizations, so be aware.
So if you were actually, say, a mentor at Big Brothers and Big Sisters, and you drove there every Saturday and you picked up your mentee and whatever, even with that, just back and forth, just for that, in terms of a volunteer, that would be tax deductible.
Yeah, keep track of that. Charitable miles is what we call it on a tax form. That is a write-off also. It's a certain cent per mileage that you drive, and also for your doctor's visits. Some people are up under the misconception that they can take off travel miles going to and from work, but that's not necessarily the case. In instances where when you get to your job, if you have to drive for your job, your personal owned vehicle, your POV, when you get to work, that's a deduction, but not to and from work. But do also keep up with your charities, and it doesn't have to be cash donations. It can be items that you give. You know, when you go to that Goodwill box and you throw clothing in there or different other things, be sure to keep track of that stuff. The best advice I can give anyone on doing your taxes every year is save receipts for everything, because it is so nice to be able to just gather that stuff at the end of the year and you have a written record. And it's easy to organize it at the end of the year. I tell all my clients, throw your receipts in a box, and then maybe quarterly, every quarter, drag that box out and put those receipts together and keep track of them then. And you'll also find that your banking systems make it very, very easy to keep track of records these days. Bank records are suitable forms of receipts for the IRS.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Well,
I
they
thought
are.
you needed original receipts.
No, you do not. You can actually pull your bank records. And a lot of times now, especially in your larger banks like Wells Fargo and TIC, they have money tracking programs that help you keep track of your budget and the money that you've spent, and it will actually categorize your spending for you.
Okay, well, those are wonderful tips, and we need to take advantage of those, especially us, the people that always owe. We need to take advantage of those tips. But you really need to come back again with the senator, and we need to just educate people on this all year long, so we won't have people in a crisis like me when it's April the 15th.
Well, actually this year, and that's April the 18th, we do have a slight extension as far as the filing time, because it took Congress so late in the year before they made the final decisions on the forms.
Okay, well, thank you so much. We appreciate all that you do.
Me.
Thank you so much.